Welcome. People who get it. You found the only geek culture showcast. Geek Speak Show. The Geek Speak Show talks about and to the movers and shakers in geek culture. Powered by Collider.com, RamaScreen.com, and GeekTyrant.com. This is the Geek Speak Show. Featuring a revolving door of geek girl co-hosts. It's all part of the plan. This is now the Geek Speak Show with your host, Henry.
Oh, that's me. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Geek Speak Show. Another exciting episode. It started out as a empty show. We're just going to talk amongst ourselves. Now we're packed with guests, like it always happens here. So we're going to talk to you about a scary movie. You guys know how I love all the scary stuff. Area 407. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. Also, we've got book picks. We've got all kinds of stuff happening. But before we do all that, you guys heard the revolving door, not broken. Producer Kyle didn't break it. I did, but we fixed it. Arielle came through it last week. Hi.
Hi.
She's still here. She couldn't get back.
I actually left and then came back voluntarily.
Yeah, I thought when it fell, you were stuck in here. So.
Well, that's why I had to fix it.
Yeah, and somebody else, good thing you did, somebody else walked in through it. Rachel.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the Geek Speak Show.
Thank you.
So, let's get to know you a little bit.
Blood what would you like to know?
Social security number, bank account number.
You can Google all that.
Yeah, you like long walks on the beach and romantic sunsets?
Well, as much as the next person, but I'd rather be in space.
Not too much, probably.
Space sets are, in fact, superior. So TARDIS or Millennium Falcon.
Millennium Falcon, come on.
All of time and space, all of it.
Yeah, but you have Han and Chewie, like.
Oh, you're right.
Okay. Point for me.
But doctors, like a lot of them. A lot of doctors.
Yeah, but Han and Chewie.
Oh, and robots. Oh.
Hey, we have R2.
That's
3PO, kind of.
All right. Cybermen or C-3PO?
Dude, every time I'm going to go Star Wars. I am the Star Wars fan.
And not only that, she can actually say, I'm a Jedi.
I can. I am an actual Jedi.
Wait, there's a training academy?
Oh, well, there is
outside of Disneyland,
but that's not it though. I would like to go there. Speaking of, no, but my claim to fame is I am a Jedi because I got to model a Jedi Knight for a book. It's called You Can Draw Star Wars, and I got to be the Jedi that fights Jango.
Nice.
And I love sets in general, so it was awesome.
That's fantastic. So basically, we're representing the geek girls like with high levels of cred.
Oh yes,
I like it. You can stay.
Oh, thank you.
How to train a Jedi? Does it include in there how to find Sith who are like right under your nose?
That would be useful. It's mostly about drawing, but you can see how to draw some Sith, so that's pretty cool. But again, I'm fighting Jango, so you might want to go to that page because it's awesome.
It's no secret, really. I'm not hiding anything, but all of you listeners who've been here from day one, years ago when we started this thing, you all know what side I really fall on, right?
We interrupt this program to bring you important news.
The secret hashtag of the week is...
Well, Arielle, you did the honors last week. This time around, you're holding the envelope. You're going to rip it. You can hold the envelope.
I'm very excited. I've got all this energy. It's like it's here. It wants to be opened.
So go ahead and open it up and give it to Rachel. She can read what it is.
All right, it is Big Wow Free Ticks.
Yeah, that should make sense too. So hashtag Big Wow Free Ticks, TIX. You don't have to spell out the whole thing because I know we're allowed 150 characters, whatever it is.
140. Get your memes correct.
Yeah, like you can tell how much I get on Twitter, but you do. So as a matter of fact, I get on it so much that I forgot to pick a winner from last week. So I'm going to do that as soon as we finish the show, and then I'll pick the new one. So one more time, Rachel, what is it?
It is hashtag Big Wow Free Ticks.
Yeah, so 2 passes for Big Wow ComicFest happening May 19th and 20th at the San Jose Convention Center. You get to talk to Jim Lee. I mean that right there should be the price of admission. And if you win this, it's nothing. It's free. So Jim Lee will be there. Frank Cho will be there. Thomas Jane will be there. Yes, that Punisher. He'll be there also. Jane Weedland will be there. Terrence Adunich will be there. You and I have seen you actually got to meet him. I think you said one time.
Yeah. At which can I? Go and meet him. He's amazing.
Yes, this will be my first time, and I can't wait for that. So that, you can go to our link section. It's also a big, there's a big contest page. There's a link to the Big Wow stuff. You can see who's going to be there. The programming is there. The exhibitors are there. Everything is all there. You want to go there for free on us. Not literally on us, but you know what I mean. Just
Henry will piggyback you around the convention.
No, I have a bad back. Hashtag, what is it again, Rachel?
Big Wow Free Ticks.
Yeah, you know how it works. If you don't, again, go to our contest page on the main page. You know where you're listening to the show? Just scroll down a little, click right there. There it is. Or up above. That.
Who doesn't want free ticks anyway?
I love free tickets for things I don't even want to go to.
Right?
Exactly. So, packed show, like I said. So let's take a little break, get everything reset here, and then we will get into Area, not 51, 407.
The Geek Speak Show will be right back. On the weekend of May 19th and 20th, Northern California's biggest premier two-day comics event comes to the San Jose Convention Center. Big Wow Comic Fest. Big Wow Comic Fest is a comics convention that highlights comic books and comic book artists. Check out some of the guests. Jim Lee, Steve Niles, Frank Cho, Sergio Aragonés, Ryan Sook, Thomas Jane, Terrence Zadunich, Jane Weedlin, and more. Visit BigWowComicFest.com for a complete list of guests, plus a full schedule of programming and panels. Big Wow Comic Fest 2012 also has costume contest, an art auction, the Avengers Museum Art Show, giveaways, live art, and much more. This is a Comic-Con the way it should be, for comic books and comic book fans. Get tickets and information at www.BigWowComicFest.com. Big Wow Comic Fest.
Hi, I'm Chris Hardwick. You are watching and/or listening to Geek Speak Show. They're listening. You're consuming. You're watching it with your ears. Oh, you just listen.
We are back on the Geek Speak Show. So, hi, Rachel, again.
Hi, Henry.
So, again, we were talking about this little film that's coming out. A lot of good films. There's kind of a big one coming out in a couple of weeks. But this one, there's one, The Raven. We'll hear from John Cusack in a little bit also. Another one is right up my alley, because you guys know how we were talking about before we started the show, how much I love all the scary stuff. This one, Area 407, I'm not going to tell you guys about it. We have the directors on, actually, to talk to you guys about all about Area 407. And before we do that, not right now, when we finish this interview, go to our Facebook page. I have the trailer linked up on there. You guys can take a look at it and turn the lights down, turn the volume up. They'll make you jump. So Dale Fabrigar and Everette Wallin are the directors. Welcome, guys, to the Geek Speak Show.
Hey there.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thanks for coming on, first of all. So tell us about Area 407.
Go for it, Everett.
Well, you want to throw that in my court? Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, basically, it's you're dealing with a lot of people that are on a bad plane flight. It crashes down into a government secure reserve area where they're doing different projects and experiments on I guess you could say biological entities, and so they come face to face with those kind of problems as they try to make it out. That's pretty much the gist of it.
Yeah, another thing I should mention is it's also a found footage type of film. So was that the idea from day one, to make it a found footage, or was it something else completely different when you guys first started this?
Yes, it was. It was always originally planned to be a found footage film. We were approached from the very beginning by the producers, Suzanne de Laurentiis, to kind of come up with a little found footage movie. They were kind of hot at the time. This is right after Paranormal and all those bigger movies, and they wanted to kind of come up with their own little thing. And they had a little storyline, and they approached us and wanted us to do something, and so that's how it kind of started. Definitely was always a found footage movie.
So how do you direct a found footage film? How is it different from directing something else? And do you allow as many takes as possible, or do you just do one or two to get that real feeling?
Yeah. Go for it. You go first.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he and I both, Dale and I both were, this was kind of a fly by the seat of your pants kind of deal. And with found footage, obviously, it's, you're not dealing with setups per se, where you're doing different angles, different shots, and you're setting up for those and preparing for them. This is a really shoot from the hip kind of deal, and you're also shooting with your DP, where we used a DP in this, director of photography, so that we weren't just having the actors handle the camera where you're just getting sick because they're not really trained to hold the camera and grab the shot per se. And so we had a DP come in and try to mimic that that instability while still trying to maintain some sort of stability, so it's not just all over the place. So those are some of the challenges that we're really kind of looking at while you're dealing with that, because you're just not dealing with the rehearsed kind of setup in the normal way of filmmaking.
Yeah, we actually.
And there was. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, on this show we talked to some of the like you said, the paranormal activities and all those. We talked to them. They all seem to have a different approach to how they directed the film. Some, like you guys said, they just pretty much let it happen, let the chaos happen, if you will. Others try to control it as much as they can. So it sounds like you guys did a little bit of both. Am I right on that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, our budget was extremely low. The film was actually created, produced, everything in 5 days. We did not have much time. There were a lot of, obviously, logistical problems and challenges to get over within that time, but we moved very, very, very fast just because we just didn't have time. And our cast, we had a limited cast. We had some really great people to work with. So we did it sort of a little bit of both. I mean, they were planned shots because we knew we would be in certain areas and dealing with certain scenes. But, originally there was a script that was written, right, Everett? And then Everett and I kind of came in and figured out that based on the cast, we rewrote some things and changed and worked with those cast members to create new dialogue and new situations based on those scenes, and it just sort of evolved. And then when we got to the location, it changed once again. So we all had to be sort of in that moment and go with the flow, and the DP, the cinematographer, had to also follow along. So it was kind of fun in discovering what those beats were within all those scenes. So, there was some planning, but a lot of it, I'd say 97% of it was all improvisation. After the script was written and story, we kind of, threw it out for a while.
I would say doing it in those 5 days, that actually was a help to the actors, because, having that frenetic pace, especially, I haven't seen it yet, but towards the end, I can imagine, it gets kind of intense, I'll put it that way. So I'm sure that, that fast pace helped the actors too, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Dale said, you only have a few days, and so by the time it comes down to the very end of it, everyone's been squeezed really well, and so it becomes. I've said before to Dale privately, it was like kind of jazz, playing a little bit of jazz in a way, because you just really got to go with the moment that you have. There's not a whole lot of prep time you have.
Yeah, we're talking to Dale Fabrigar Everette Wallin. They are the directors of Area 407. Comes out April 27th on VOD, and in select theaters. We have the link up on our link section, and also, like I said, on our Facebook page, the trailer is there. You guys can go there, turn up the volume, like I said, get a few jumps.
So, Dale and Everett, what are some of your favorite found footage films?
Mine, well, obviously, I was really taken by Paranormal when it first came out. Honestly, I was impressed. I like that, and I like the series overall. I mean, it's been, what they did with what they had at the time. It was pretty cool, and of course, what the big influence on me was Blair Witch at the time, and that was very fresh when it came out. And it's funny because I appreciated that film even much more after it had come out. So, and of course, for me again, Cloverfield, definitely, it's that style.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, we only got one of you guys. Who was that? Dale? Who was that?
Yeah, I'm pretty much saying ditto on that. I mean, I remember when Blair Witch came out, and it was it obviously made it was a juggernaut. It made quite that, and then I'm with Dale as well. I'm a huge J.J. Abrams fan, and so loved Cloverfield, but also loved what they've done with Paranormal as well. And there's an example of what you're talking about, where you try to control that environment. Keeping it all in house. We did not have that that situation because we're in the middle of just basically out in the middle of the desert. Those would be the things that I looked at.
How do you avoid? Well, I guess you kind of can't really, but how do you try to avoid comparisons to a Cloverfield or a Paranormal Activity when you do a found footage type of film?
Well, I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can really avoid it to a greater extent. Some of the things that are done, but as you know, I said to Dale, hey, at the end of the day, if people go see movies and black, and this reminds me of J.J. Abrams. Oh well, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. You've compared me to J.J. Abrams. How will I ever get through tomorrow? So part of me is, okay with that. You obviously don't want to be like rip off. You don't want to. But if there are things that end up look like, there's some similarities to that. You're never going to escape that entirely. I hope that we did enough to remain authentic.
Yeah, and all we can do is what we can do and try to just make our own film. We weren't going to have a big budget, so we were really limited. So what we tried to do is just get as much bang for our buck, if you will, maximize what we had, and just make our own movie, So if we get compared, it's just hard not to be compared. I would compare it to some other films. There are films like this, and that's actually kind of fun, just like Everett was mentioning. When we started, I'll speak for myself. I wasn't looking to do a found footage movie or this sort of genre film, but I was intrigued by it, with some of these genre elements, and what really got me, and I believe there's a couple of things that set it apart from some of these other films at the time when we were making it, was this, plane crash moment, that set piece, as well as at the time the little girl, the young minor, the girl who is the two sisters. This was shot before Paranormal 3, so for us, I was kind of excited to have a young lead in it, and it was sort of fresh for us to go into the project with that in mind, and so that's kind of, we thought at the time, unique. That was a lot of fun.
So branching off of that, why don't you guys talk about the cast a little bit? Who are we going to love after we watch Area 407?
I'd have to go. My number one pick will always be Brendan Connor. Wouldn't you agree, Dale? That's probably going to be one of the favorites if they reach for somebody, just because of who that guy is.
I hate that. No, he was.
No,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Dale.
No, they were all great. Let me think of it. We had Abigail Schrader, she was the youngest. We had Samantha Lester, Samantha Sloyan, who was a good friend of Everett. We loved her. She played the flight attendant. Who else? Jimmy Lyons, Melanie Lyons, Ken Garcia, and Brendan. He was one of the last added to our cast, and he seems to, I have to say, steal the show a little bit. I don't think he meant to, but it's just the way it went, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't help it a little bit. The guy is just so incredibly funny. A New York native who lives out west now, and he just brings all of that in your mind you would think of as a resident citizen of New York and in New York City. And he's just a funny guy, and so he really helped with a lot of the levity that you're going to need in a film like this, just because you're going to need that kind of break from the tension. But a lot of the other actors, and again, all of them were great. I always just lean towards him because you're always going to like the funny guy. But as Dale said, Samantha Sloyan, excellent actress, plays the flight attendant. Jimmy Lyons, another great guy in there. There's a few favorites in there, and I think we've mentioned them for sure.
And you were also in the movie, right, Everett?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, that's right. I'm in there briefly, but I knew I was going to be behind the camera with Dale a great deal, and so I said I have to be the first one to die. So I got the first scratch on the body count.
We're not going to ask you who lives, who dies. We don't do spoilers on the show. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind telling you. I don't mind, since it's a very full cast. I don't mind letting you know that I'm definitely the first one to go down.
Spoiler alert. So again, Area 407 is going to be available April 27th on IFC Midnight Cable VOD select theaters. Do you guys know what those select theaters are, or no yet?
No, I don't. Not yet.
No, I sure don't. That's IFC's running that whole thing now, and so I do not know how that's being brought into the world. As far as which theaters and which not.
Okay, so I would say just go to our link section. It'll probably be all up on the website, but it's definitely going to be on IFC VOD. Also on iTunes, Amazon Streaming, Xbox, Zune, PlayStation Unlimited, Sundance Now. Again, April 27th, Area 407 is the movie to look out for. So let's talk a little bit about you guys. Dale, let's start with you. What kind of, besides something like this, what kind of projects attract you? What do you want to direct?
Boy, I run the gamut. I love dramas and I love action, so who doesn't love that? I mean, from a genre film like Area 407 to something Everett and I are developing. Currently, we have a pretty big action project, and it's like Nikita, very action-packed to drama, which I think is really my first love. And so I'm actually currently on a film right now, and today's our day off, so it all worked out great for this interview. But yeah, and that is just a simple drama taking place in LA and about relationships. So it's more of an indie film. So I really just, whatever the project is, if it touches me, if I can do something fun and be part of a project and work with some actors in it, that's what really intrigues me. There's something about it usually that draws me to it, and I do all kinds of stuff.
When did you know you wanted to be behind the camera?
It's funny. I always wanted to be, I guess, I knew when I was very young. That sounds really, really cliche, but I did. I mean, there's photos of me holding a video camera, the little Kodak camera. But, I grew up in a really sort of conservative, world where my family was, and they were more professional. They were, nurses and lab techs in the medicine world, and in medicine, I'm sorry. And they wanted me to get into that field. I'm Filipino, and so there's a lot of, in the health industry, a lot of work there. They wanted me to go that route. But as I grew up, I realized that, and I think my folks and family realized that I was more of an artist, and they sort of took that route, and they let me go for it. I actually started in design. Graphic design was my formal visual training, but I was always making film, never stopped, even through my studies, in design. And then eventually I worked, saved some more money, and then started making my own films, small films with my money that I had saved up, and then just kept doing it, and I just never stopped. And then I just transitioned out of that, and it was the biggest choice I had to make, but I think it was one of the better ones. It just really helped me focus and realize that this was it. But I've always wanted to do it, and I had been doing it for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, actually, my wife is Filipino also, so I know exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about the medical professions.
Is she a nurse?
No, actually, she does what I do. She's also in broadcasting. They had to come to terms with that also.
Yes, there you go. So, but my folks were very supportive. My brother and my mother and my father were very, very, very supportive.
So, Everett, for you, do you prefer being in front of the camera or behind the camera?
Oof, that's tough. I honestly may have to, I don't know that just yet. I haven't made, that has been something that's sort of evolving in my mind right now. And one part of it with acting is it's such a, I don't know, when you're doing it right and you're in the middle of it, it's the high. It's really just a high you can't buy. It's a great thing, and it's something that is I find really rewarding. But recently, behind the camera, where you just have so many other aspects of it that you can control and what you want to put out for the finished product, that has I appreciate them for completely two different. It's literally like having two children. One's a girl, one's a boy. How can I say which one I love more? They're both my children. That's kind of what it feels like. So I'd really have to plead out on that and say I don't know as of yet. But I started out in front of the camera and still do that. So that was my first love, and then writing and directing sort of came as a natural evolution that just wasn't really a place that I drove to. I just woke up there one day. So,
or you could take you could take the easy way out and just say whoever has the bigger paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Who's ever paying more? Oh, I love that today. Right.
So, Dale.
Well, that was one of the reasons why we had a co-directing deal on this project. I had worked on a few things, and the producer had actually asked me to direct it, and Everett was there with me, and Everett and I had been talking about working together on future projects, and I knew his intrigue with directing and being on the other side of the camera, and I said, I'm not doing this film without Everett. Are you in? And I think it might have, at first, I wasn't sure if that was the best, wish for you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wasn't sure. He goes, I'm not doing this without Everett. And I turn and look at him, and sort of the inner monologue is, what are you doing? What are you getting me into? Wait a minute. But then it's like, hey, no risk, no reward. And so, things change, and then you realize, oh man, I got to do this all the time. This is great. And as a writer, I naturally kind of write towards a directorial eye. And as Dale said, we have another action psychological thriller that we've developed called Blue, and Dale's going to direct that one. And I wrote that, and we developed a story on that, and then I've just written a Western called Margaret Cole that I'm going to direct, and Dale's going to produce on. So if we're fortunate, we'll turn around in 5-10 years will have passed, and we'll have done a bunch of them together.
Yeah, and I specifically chose Everett, not just because he was sitting there, was because he had that experience in front of the camera. He also had writing experience, and since we were doing so much improvisation, and I saw the script, because in the script, again, going back to that, there wasn't a hard script as we know it, a conventional one. It was more of a beat sheet or an outline of a story.
We had an 8-page synopsis. That's what we were given.
So we knew we had to develop that and then bring in some actors, and a lot of those people that were in the cast were Everett's friends. Again, we were so low budget, and we had about a week of prep. It was really not, the most comfortable way to make a movie, but that's just sometimes the spirit of how things are made, and in the spirit of being independent, we went in there passionate and energized. It was an experiment. Let's just do this. Let's see what happens, and I think we had a blast making it with everybody. I know I did.
Absolutely.
So, Dale, I heard that you have some vintage space toys. I really want to hear about this.
Oh, no. Who told you that? I do? Told you that. Yeah, I have a few. I'm just really into that ever since I was a kid. I don't know. Somewhere out there's a picture floating around on the internet of me holding a little robot. And it was like my very first tin robot. And my cousin pulled out that little picture. And I was still pretty young when she showed that to me. And once I held that photo again, I was a little older in high school, I don't know what overcame me. I started collecting everything I could that I could find that was fun and colorful and made out of tin. And I don't know what it is. I've met other collectors or something about our craziness. A lot of us are in the arts and advertising and film. There's just something about it that draws us to sort of the whimsical imaginations of, the innocence of that time. And I don't know. The color is just, it's just so creative. And yes, I do have a few, and I'm very passionate, although I haven't had a chance to get anything recently. I can't find anything. Everyone's got it on eBay and outbids me. I have no chance.
And by the way, we have our little spies everywhere. That's how we found out about that.
Okay.
So again, it's the movie's Area 407 is going to be available April 27th. That's this Friday on IFC VOD. Also on iTunes, Amazon Streaming, Xbox, Zune, PlayStation, Sundance Now, and select theaters. Go to our link section. It's all up and there. All the info will be there for you. Probably coming to now. Would you guys suggest see this in the theaters or get it on downloaded somewhere or both?
Both. Yeah, I think they're doing a limited release.
I think that answer was kind of built into the question.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can do both.
See it.
Any way you can see it, try to check it out. It should be fun.
Yeah, so again, Dale Fabrigar Everette Wallin, he's also going to be in it he spoiled it alert, he's the first one to go. But you guys can see all that Area 407 this Friday. Thanks, guys, for coming on, and you are welcome back anytime.
Hey, thanks
it's our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, we should nothing but continued success.
Thank you.
You as well. Thanks a lot.
Okay, talk to you guys later.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, for our next attraction...
Comics Commentary with David Lee on the Geek Speak Show.
Hey kids, welcome back to yet another episode of Comics Commentary with me. So, there I was, sitting at my desk with my comic books in my hand, and I was also watching a show on Netflix that y'all probably remember really well. Spider-Man from the 90s. I was watching the tail end of the I was watching the very, very tail end of the series during the Spider Wars, and they actually had Ben Reilly on the series. I'm not really going to go into much detail about it at this point, but it got my brain thinking. Whatever happened to Ben Reilly? In the comics we see Kane in the current run of Scarlet Spider, so forth and so on. But whatever happened to Ben Reilly? And that got me thinking. I really want to read the Clone Wars over again. That's right. I decided to go ahead and punch myself in the proverbial daddy bags and went back to read the Clone Saga. Well, here's the thing. Back when I was a kid, I couldn't follow it, and I was really confused. Today, now that I've read all the comic books, I went and got the Revelations trade paperback as well, along with some other comics. I don't really find myself that turned off by it. I mean, it's confusing as all get out, don't get me wrong, but I think as long as you follow it directly, like issue by issue by issue, you should be okay with reading it. I wasn't too much a fan of the art, though. So that leads me into kind of one of my thoughts. What would we do if we had a Clone Saga redone nowadays? I know that there was not really a reboot, but a retelling of the Clone Saga that Marvel did, but I missed it, unfortunately. So my question to you is, what would you think? What would we do? What would you do? Anything different? Would you write out Ben Reilly entirely? What about Kane? Miles Warren, aka the Jackal? Would you do anything different? When I was reading these comics, I found that I would do a lot of things differently, actually. One, I'd probably get rid of Kane. Kane was just kind of a useless character to me. I knew that he had very, very important plot dynamic, but I was just like, this is not really that interesting. Two, I'm not sure I would go with Miles Warren. I mean, Warren was a great villain for that time, but I just didn't feel him. The other thing, but I will tell you, and I know I bitch a lot about what I don't like in the comics commentary, so let's talk on something I do like. The one thing I did like especially was the confusion out of Ben Reilly. He wasn't sure if he was the clone or if he was really Peter Parker, and I kind of like that conflict. I like that drama in his head. And when I read the actual Scarlet Spider comics, the ones that were put out like Web of Scarlet Spider, Amazing Scarlet Spider, and then the simple Scarlet Spider comic itself, they actually delved into that in Ben's head. He wasn't exactly like Peter Parker. He was more inexperienced, more conflicted. In the early comics with Ben Reilly, he found himself working for a mob boss. That I found kind of funny in a weird, ironic kind of way. Here you've got Peter Parker who treads a straight and narrow. He's a little bit less confident than you would think. But Ben Reilly takes the cake on lack of self-confidence. I kind of thought that was okay. I thought it was a little bit of a refreshing turn from Peter Parker. Truth told, listeners, I'd actually kind of like to see Ben Reilly come back. Hey, Marvel, if you're listening out there, do me a favor, if you would please. Take a thought into bringing back Ben Reilly somehow. I mean, here, I'll even give you a plot idea for it. Perhaps, say, the new Madam Web, Julia Carpenter. She finds out that, Ben Reilly's soul is still alive, and she brings him back to possibly help Peter Parker at some point. Just give it a thought through. Let us know what you think. So this episode of Comics Commentary has been brought to you by me, and here's a little different part of this whole thing. This is normally the time when I thank you guys for listening and I leave you with a snarky comment or two. But this time, I need to ask you for help. I'm starting to run out of ideas, folks. So hit me up. Write me at davidlee@thegeekspeakshow.com. Hit me up at the Geek Speak Facebook page. You never know, man. The next topic may be yours, and that might save Henry from having me mow his lawn while I think of ideas. Kind of crazy, right? I know. But so until next time, we'll catch you guys in the funny pages, and I'll see you in 7.
Now back to the Geek Speak Show. Here's Henry.
And whatever Geek Girl walked through the revolving door.
They actually both walked in, but we're going to put them on pause for a second. We put them in the soundproof booth over there because Arielle's getting a little bit crazy. So, producer Kyle, jump in here with me for a second.
I'm in.
Okay, that means I need a guy's voice, but we'll settle for Kyle. So, what movies are you looking forward to this summer? We were talking about that the other day.
We were talking about that the other day. Well, G.I. Joe's a movie I'm looking forward to. I don't know exactly what sparked my interest about that movie, but if I was to wait in line for 4 hours to watch a movie, I would watch G.I. Joe's. It would be for G.I. Joe's.
This is why he's a producer, because he just reminded me of something. On our Facebook page, I did put the new trailer that just came out. That one really got me excited. I was one of the few people, okay, David Lee was the second one. I was actually one of the two people with David who actually liked the first G.I. Joe movie. A lot of people ever complain, oh, it's not G.I. Joe. It is G.I. Joe. Most of the people I talked to, what they didn't like was the story. Really? You're looking for a story in a movie based on comic books and a toy line?
Yeah, I'm not really.
You want story with toys? Go to Toy Story.
Explosions and maybe a few fighting.
I went with my son. We were both 8 years old when we were watching that thing. As we started getting more trailers and stuff for G.I. Joe 2, now called G.I. Joe Retaliation, the first thing that turned me off was The Rock. Now, we like The Rock. He's like,
that's why I liked it.
No, he's another Will Smith, very charismatic. You go see everything he sees anyway.
Right.
But there's too much focus on The Rock. With this second trailer that's up on our Facebook page for G.I. Joe Retaliation, that's G.I. Joe. Now I'm there. And also, where's my thing? See, you didn't do your job there, producer Kylie. We got to do something here before I say this next part. So, let's get everybody ready. You know what's coming.
Oh, I know.
Spoiler alert!
It's been revealed that... Well, I was going to ask you a question, but I already know the answer. Did you ever read the G.I. Joe comic book from Marvel?
Nope.
I don't think you were born yet back then. But everybody knows when I say issue number 21, you know what I'm talking about. The director, who, by the way, now is going by John M. Chu, not just John Chu, but John M. Chu, the director of G.I. Joe Retaliation, just revealed to our friend Steve Frosty from Collider in an interview, he's revealed that in G.I. Joe Retaliation, there is a 10 to 12 minute, no dialogue scene, just ninja action from beginning to end, with, of course, with Snake Eyes and the Red Ninjas. That, of course, is an homage to number 21. Number 21, for those of you who don't know, Kyle, I'm looking at you. For those of you that don't know, issue number 21 is hailed as one of the best comic books ever made in the G.I. Joe series from Marvel. And in any issue, really, any comic book issue, that it had nothing. It was just the drawings, and that's it. Maybe to sing or some kind of sound effect in there, but it had no dialogue, no nothing. It was just something that you would have liked, because you didn't have to read anything. You have to pick up a lot of
visual
book.
stuff. Then perfect.
Yeah, it's a Snake Eye story because, number one, he doesn't talk, first of all, so that's why they took his note and they went with it. There was no dialogue in the whole thing, but it was one of the best comic books ever. There's an homage to that in this one. I still don't like the fact that they're giving away a little bit too much in the G.I. Joe trailers. Like you could have saved the fact that, again, spoiler for those of you who haven't seen it, but the whole world has. When the ram cycle, I guess that's what Snake Eyes is jumping over that ramp, and then it splits up into missiles. That would have been a great reveal in the movie theater, but no, they gave it away in the trailer. So, oh well, hopefully you'll have some bigger, better stuff.
So then, are you more excited for this movie than the first movie that came out?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought you were going to ask me overall for the summer. That answer would have been definitely no.
No. Well, okay, excluding the Avengers then.
What about it?
Excluding the Avengers, how high does this rank in your movie watching, summer movie watching list?
2.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, good.
What's number 1?
For you?
Yeah, for anybody. Really.
Oh, I said excluding the Avengers.
Well, Avengers wouldn't be number 1 either.
Okay, then what's number 2? Wait. I have no idea.
I just said it. G.I. Joe, Retaliation.
Well, all right, never mind. Clearly, there's some miscommunication.
The question is, what's number 1? See, this is why he's producer. What's number 1? My most anticipated film of the summer?
Yeah, but I said excluding the Avengers.
I know. Avengers wouldn't even be my number 1 if you weren't including it.
Then please tell. What is number 1 then?
When Gotham is ashes, you have my permission to die.
I'm going to need more than that.
So does everybody else. Dark Knight Rises, of course. What else?
Okay. Oh.
But speaking of movies, not quite the summer movie yet. Next weekend, of course, the big one comes out, and that's when everything kicks off. But there is one right up my alley. When I say Nevermore, what do you think of?
Fighting?
Kids. The Raven, Edgar Allan Poe.
Right, that was my next guess.
Sure it was, after I gave you the answer. No, but there's a movie called The Raven, based not on the poem, but it actually stars Edgar Allan Poe. He's one of the main characters. It's kind of an action, mystery, horror kind of movie.
Well, is there anything similar to this type of movie?
No. Okay. And it stars John Cusack as Edgar Allan Poe. Now, from Relativity, I got sent an interview that he did. He's doing the press runs now, of course. He was going to come on, but he's a little busy because everybody wants him for this thing. But they did send me a generic interview done by Chris Miller. So we're going to listen to that now. And again, it comes out this Friday, April 27th in theaters. The Raven, starring John Cusack. Here he is now, exclusively on the Geek Speak Show.
So, John, in preparing for this role, what did you learn about Poe that intrigued you the most?
Some things that I didn't think of. I didn't think he was going to be quite so combative, or I didn't think I've forgotten how funny some of his writings were, or how satiric some of them were. How many different genres that he created, from science fiction to the supernatural to the horror to the detective genre, So I think when you look into the guy, there's so much there that you sort of take for granted when you see him out there in the culture, and you go, oh wow, it all comes back to this guy. Wow,
it's amazing how much stuff funnels back. Yeah. Did you get to read a lot of the works in your preparation?
Yeah, of course.
Was there one story that kind of stuck out for you that really?
Well, I sort of looked for the stuff that he wrote that was more revealing about himself. So, like the stories like The Imp of the Perverse that are talking about his dance with self-destruction and stuff. I think were really fascinating pieces of writing and like confessional pieces of writing. And so those are just fantastic, and you can see how those have affected so many other writers.
And
even in Europe and back in the States later, how that style and that sort of brazen sort of honesty was like, people must have been like, oh my God.
It was like so in your face.
Yeah.
As far as working with James on this, can you talk a little bit about him as a director and his directing style and kind of how you guys collaborated to bring Poe to life?
Yeah, I think once we had agreed that we hadn't agreed that the script, the conceit of the film was there, which was Poe becomes a character in one of his own stories and becomes swept up in one of his sort of things. So that seemed very clever. And then the work we did was really just fleshing out who he was and what side of Poe we wanted to see, and then making sure that the dialogue that came out of his mouth was consistent with his vocabulary, his idiom, his way of speaking, and that was sort of the work we did together on it. And then I think, pretty soon as we started to work, we were finishing each other's sentences pretty quick. So everybody was on the same page. The movie was well formed as what it was, and so it was something that
And then can you talk a little bit about how his shooting style and there's some great imagery in this film and did you notice that when you guys were shooting on set, or was it?
Yeah. No, he's technically a master of the aesthetics that he wants. So those things, you come in and those things are pretty much thought out. And then as you come in, you adjust. He would adjust them to you if you had different ideas, and you would adjust into his things. But he definitely. It wasn't like he came to the set like, what are we going to do today? He definitely knew what he wanted to do, and then he would work with you, and sometimes it would change, but mostly it was and he can work with actors. He understands actors. He's got a really, really big brain, big mind, and he doesn't sort of just talk for the sake of talking, but he's very direct, and some people talk a lot, but it doesn't really mean anything. And he's very precise, and I loved working with him.
You also have a great cast in the film. Can you talk a little bit about working with Luke Evans?
Luke was great, and Alice Eve was great. Harder roles because Edgar is such a extreme character, but they both define themselves really beautifully in the movie, I think.
Can you talk a little bit about, you got to work with a pet raccoon in the movie. Mm-hmm. What was that like? And did you have to do training before?
No, just pretended he was my cat. Hung out with him.
Cool. What do you think Poe's influence on our culture is? Like, as a cultural icon? I mean, you mentioned he kind of started these the science fiction genre, the mystery novel, but do you think his effect was more profound than just in this jazz?
I think as a poet and as a kind of an explorer into the subconscious and underworld, I think he was a pioneer. So I think his stuff, is incredibly powerful and impactful, and I think that's why he's become sort of this archetype that way.
And do you think he was a genius?
Yes.
And a genius that no one understood?
I think in his time, some people understood it, but he was such a combative person. And a lot of times things that, the thing about like art and literature and anything is, it's very rare something is always proclaimed. Things need time to breathe, and so, it's like everybody says a movie, it's an instant classic. Well, what does that mean? For it to be a classic, it has to still be affecting people in 20 years. So you have to wait and see, and people interact with it, and it gets in their mind and sticks around. And so a lot of times, there were a lot of geniuses Van Gogh died, broke, and then
chopping his ear off.
Yeah, so he was a classic, one of those kind of people that was really appreciated later, and it really took the French Baudelaire a little bit later, brought him back into the consciousness. And he got famous in Europe again before he got famous in the States.
It's almost like he never got to enjoy his own fame, basically.
No. Although he did, he was recognized as a kind of a master and a genius in some ways, but he had such a tortured life. But The Raven was a world famous poet, but he had no copyright, so he only got paid a couple bucks for it, and then it was printed in every paper all over the world. So he was a world famous poet, but he was still living hand to mouth.
Right. What was the best thing for you about making this movie?
I think it was just a very good, solid creative process, and I felt like we got to go in and make the movie with the actors and the director, and we all got to give it our best shot, and we weren't sort of interfered with, and I felt like we gave it a really serious, solid, our best effort to make this movie, and that's sort of all you can ask for.
Cool. Thank you. That's all I have. Okay, man. Thanks for taking my time.
So that's John Cusack, who plays Edgar Allan Poe in The Raven, coming out this Friday from Relativity. Thanks again for them and EPKTV.tv. Chris Miller doing that little interview there. Now you know kind of what The Raven is about.
A little bit. I need to watch the trailer.
I think you need to go read the poem first, actually.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a poem either.
Of course you didn't.
Thought you were talking about a football team.
You know what books are? Of course he doesn't. So do me a favor. Before we do anything else, the two girls, they started it off, so let's finish it.
We interrupt this program to bring you important news.
The secret hashtag of the week is...
Do you know what it is?
Nope.
Of course you don't. You're a producer only. Why would you know? Hashtag Big Wow Free Ticks. Hashtag Big Wow Free Ticks TIX. 2 tickets to Big Wow Comic Fest in San Jose, May 19th and 20th. Did I say free?
Free.
Yeah, free.
My favorite kind.
So yeah, it's in your budget, of course. So May 19th and 20th, you can go see Jim Lee, Frank Cho, everybody that's going to be there. Go to our link section. Go to our Big Wow Comic Fest link, contest link that's up there, and you can get all the details. But again, it's hashtag Big Wow Free Ticks. Produce and go to that little soundproof room over there. I see Arielle's not waving her arms around anymore, which means I guess they're done talking. So grab her because I need her for this next interview. In the meantime, I'll take a break. You all stay right there, and we'll do something a little bit fun with Arielle. You'll see what I'm talking about.
The Geek Speak Show will be right back. On the weekend of May 19th and 20th, Northern California's biggest premier 2-day comics event comes to the San Jose Convention Center. Big Wow Comic Fest. Big Wow Comic Fest is a comics convention that highlights comic books and comic book artists. Check out some of the guests. Jim Lee, Steve Niles, Frank Cho, Sergio Aragonés, Ryan Sook, Thomas Jane, Terrence Zadunich, Jane Weedlin, and more. Visit BigWowComicFest.com for a complete list of guests, plus a full schedule of programming and panels. Big Wow Comic Fest 2012 also has costume contest, an art auction, the Avengers Museum Art Show, giveaways, live art, and much more. This is a Comic-Con the way it should be, for comic books and comic book fans.
Get tickets and information at www.BigWowComicFest.com.
Big Wow Comic Fest. Just like a lot of people, we've dropped the radio. This is now the Geek Speak Show.
Laundry day, see you there, under things, tumbling. Wanna say, love your hair, here I go, mumbling. With my freeze ray, I will stop the world.
Welcome back, everybody. We are
I thought
here.
you were going to start singing.
Well, that might happen with the bum, 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 bum. It's automatic. The bouncing definitely kicks in. So we are actually just trying to set the mood here because we now have Essy Redbird, the host of the Joss Whedon Medley Night at the Cartoon Art Museum, who's going to come and talk to us a little bit about Dr. Horrible, Singing Along, and all that awesomeness. So welcome, Essy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just dive right in because I'm so fascinated. I want to know how you got involved with the Cartoon Art Museum for hosting a Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog. What was the connection that brought these two amazing things together?
Well, that is so complicated, but I will simple it up. I do a lot of events, and I am interning over at the Cartoon Art Museum, just helping them out and learning a lot about museums, and I offered to bring in, my skills on the events end of things, and I wanted to do this event, so it was all my brainchild.
Oh, and what a lovely, perfect brainchild it is. I couldn't be more thrilled to hear about this event.
I like that image, brainchild. Yeah, cool.
It sprung fully formed like Athena from Zeus. So, what specifically made you decide to do a Dr. Horrible Sing-Along blog? What is it about Dr. Horrible that really, sticks with you?
Well, for one, of the fact that it was written during the writer's strike, and it just showed how much more liberty artists have when they aren't, dealing with the major networks, and Joss just really shining and just bringing out his absolute best and saying, I'm going to do with this, exactly what I want to do, and coming out with something that was so viral that it crashed servers overnight, and, it's just... and on top of that, I love Felicia Day. I love Neil Patrick Harris. I always forget the guy's name who plays, Mal and Firefly.
You're breaking my heart. Nathan Fillion.
I know. I love him.
That's okay. We won't tell him that you forgot.
Okay, good, great, thanks. Yeah, so I love all the actors, and I absolutely, I grew up on musicals, and I'm a nerd, so it all comes together. I love what Joss has done with both musical pieces, with with Once More with Feeling and with Dr. Horrible, and we are doing songs from both shows at this event. So, yeah.
No, it's so exciting, and you're right. The musical stylings of Joss just really shine in both the Once More with Feeling and Dr. Horrible. So it's fun to have an event that really brings the two together. Now, you mentioned you had some skills here. So what other sort of events have you produced in the past? Is this your sort of maiden voyage into event planning?
Well, actually, up in Portland, Oregon, I put together, I used to promote under a different name. I change my name every couple of years. It's sort of a running joke with my community and my friends. So up in Portland, I produced Once More with Feeling on stage with as Malcolm Rollick with the Arabella Cooperative, which was a small events group I put together that also produced the Arabella Performance Art Festival. So we did the whole show, which I wish I could do again here, but I didn't have the time or the actors and the incredible talent that I had, up in Portland to pull together and, work for free and, nail down an entire show. And I think we only did, 4 to 6 weeks of rehearsals up there. But that whole show is still available on YouTube. It's the channel is MLKLM. It's a weird Arabic-looking shorthand for Malcolm, and the entire Once More with Feeling musical that we did in Portland is up there.
What can people expect when they go to the Cartoon Art Museum on May 3rd? For someone like me that's never been to a sing-along or an event like this, what are we going to find out when we get there?
Well, the whole thing, so the Joss Whedon sing-alongs got canceled a long time ago because you couldn't air the film to sing along with. And so we really wanted to overcome that hurdle and just get people together and sing these songs and really trust, first of all, people know them. People not only know the songs, but some people know the dances. Some people, know some of the lines, or all of them. Myself, mostly. I think I know Once More with Feeling by heart at this point. So what we've done is we have, we've got a live keyboard player and a couple plants, meaning, a couple of us who have the songs nailed down really well, and we'll bring a sort of art direction aspect to the evening. There'll be a lot of running around and mad frenzy. Who knows this part? Who can stand over here? Let's try to recreate the scene. It's going to be ridiculous and off the hook. We really want people to show up in costumes. We want people to show up knowing the parts, or if they don't know the parts, just showing up, ready to dive in and laugh a whole lot. We'll be serving cheap beer and popcorn, and the museum will be open. So there's some great exhibits up right now. Off the top of my head, I think there's the Image Comics show is still up. And, we just took down a really great Wizard of Oz exhibit, and I'm not sure what's going up in place of that, but there's all sorts. Oh, Mad Magazine. There's a Mad Magazine exhibit, which, it's awesome. So there's going to be, people can mingle in the museum and have drinks, and then we're just going to dive in and, in terms of set order, I'll have it laid out so that, we can kind of change the set order as we go. If there's certain songs people want to do, we'll just go for it, and a few of us, we are rehearsing and having some of the songs prepared and a little bit of over-the-top camp thrown in for good measure.
Yeah, we're talking to Essy Redbird, who will be your host next Wednesday, May 3rd. Next week is going to be a big Whedon week for obvious reasons. But she will be at the Cartoon Art Museum hosting the Dr. Horrible Sing-Along, the Joss Whedon Medley Night. Costumes are encouraged. Essy, are you going to be in costume?
Absolutely. There will be a surprise. I'll be coming as Anya, but there'll be another costume surprise for me thrown in later in the evening, I think.
Oh, that's excellent. Oh, I love... Wait, is it going to be Anya in the musical number with the little red thing and the fluffy shoes? Because, I love those fluffy shoes. No, seriously, like those fluffy shoes.
I was thinking thinking of going, lingerie and bunny ears.
Oh, so perfect. That's going to be a huge hit. I hope you do that. I hope to see you there and get lots of pictures.
Awesome. Yeah. So, it's, we're having a blast rehearsing. The rehearsals are, hysterical, and, we've got some great talent working with us. So
I love hearing all this Whedon enthusiasm in the Bay Area. Me coming from the California Browncoats and the local meetups that I've been going to and been a part of for something like 7 years now. I love that there's still a passion for it, for people to take on projects like this. And it makes me really excited when new Whedon things come out, like that little indie film that's coming out about the same weekend. And also,
you got Superhero or something?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like a take on Capes and Tights, but I'm not certain. I'm sure there'll be a twist.
There's something with a bow and arrow and a hammer, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's really like basement level, like underground, but I'm sure it'll be good. It's Joss. However, the really exciting news for me was the announcement last month that there is going to be a Dr. Horrible 2, that they're filming it this summer. Yeah.
It's going to be so off the hook. It's going to be great.
Expectations are definitely riding high on that one. But if it were up to you, what do you want to see in Dr. Horrible 2?
Oh my God, I haven't thought about it. I got an on-the-spot question. I don't know. Maybe, we got to start out with Dr. Horrible and his new relations, I guess. I don't know. Maybe, oh God. I don't know. I don't write shows.
So no zombie Penny. No zombie Penny coming back from the grave and
bring
haunting.
Penny back to life, but no. I mean, Joss has done his fair share of, resurrection, but I don't know if it fits into the Dr. Horrible meme.
I know what I would love to see is how an incompetent superhero handles all of a sudden being like the center of attention and being now thrown in the middle in the evil league of evil, and what sort of challenges does he face now that he's basically in the club? What do you do once you get successful? I feel like... but he's still an incompetent villain. So what do you do when all of a sudden the incompetent has all the power? I think there's so much to explore, and it's not like any of us know what that's like.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. That's fantastic. Yeah, I trust that Joss is going to, I don't want to say that Joss's imagination is infallible, but it has not failed. It has not failed my sensibilities to this day, and I'm, I'm a critic, so, and so I'm looking forward to whatever unfolds.
So speaking of imagination, so next week, May 3rd, Joss Whedon Medley Night at the Cartoon Art Museum. Are there any plans to do something like this again? Maybe in a local theater, somewhere else?
I would love to, if I can get the right cast together. I had a blast doing Once More with Feeling on stage. And I have for a long time thought that doing Dr. Horrible, the whole show on stage would be fantastic. I have this whole sort of this little brainstorming idea of a rotating platform for a lot of the scenes where it's changing location really quickly. And I'm all about camp. I like, if you look at what I did with Once More with Feeling, we did a lot of just ridiculous homemade sets. And one thing I will say on the YouTube channel, and I apologize for this, the set changes took forever, and were included in the video. It was a bad editing error. So, if you get to the end of a scene, just skip to the next video, and don't watch the scene.
But then it just feels like you're there, actually.
Yeah, you get that nice live feeling of oh my goodness, what's going to happen next? Except I've seen the show, but we want to know what happens next.
Yeah, totally. So, I would love to do Dr. Horrible on stage. I think it would be just an absolute blast. I haven't been in San Francisco very long, and, I'm starting on a lot of new projects being down here, so it hasn't made it to the front burner yet. This is sort of my first step back into that, these kind of events in this area. So we'll see what happens. I definitely, I love it when people contact me and say, I know you're willing and interested you want to do this kind of work, and just say, let's collaborate, because, the more people, the better. Running the show yourself, sometimes it's not as fun. So, the more people are interested, the more people want to get involved, the more happens.
Excellent. No, and I think this is an amazing debut into the Bay Area nerdy theater scene. I'm so excited to have you here. I'm so excited to have somebody like you with this sort of energy coming back in. And I really hope that, as you get here and you connect with people, more productions come, and you should, we'll hang out, because I know people.
Awesome. Cool.
We'll have your people call her people.
Yeah, my people will call your people, and when I say people, I mean me, and I think I mean you. But shh, don't tell anyone.
Yeah. Great. Good. Sounds good.
Yes, again, it's Essy Redbird. She will be your host for Joss Whedon Medley Night this coming Thursday, May 3rd. It's not, I said Wednesday, it's actually on Thursday, May 3rd at the Cartoon Art Museum here in San Francisco. Tickets are on a sliding scale. Go ahead, Essy.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say 6 to 9, 6 o'clock. We'll probably get the music started around 6:30, so you can come at 6 and you can wander around the museum, get a sense of the exhibit before you're distracted by all of the hootenanny. And, it's $2 to $20 sliding scale, and if you don't know where Cartoon Art Museum is, it's 655 Mission Street. It's a easy walk from Montgomery BART.
If you've been to WonderCon, right around the corner, and just go to our link section, everything is all up on there. And I was also thinking this is actually the perfect warm-up to that little independent film that he's got coming up, because it's so independent, there's some assembly required. So just go to this thing.
You can plan a whole Whedon night. You can go to the sing-along. You can get your nerd on really hardcore, and then
if you're in line waiting for that midnight showing, bribe somebody. Food usually works, and say, "Hold my line. I'll be right back."
You can do hey, I'm gonna go to this. I'll be here at 9. I'll give you a break. You can go get dinner sitting down. You'll be the talk of the town. It's so fancy. And then get that good seat in line. Go right in for the midnight show, and you are set. It's also easy walking distance to a nearby theater, so you can plan that whole night.
So you can see it in IMAX.
You see it in IMAX. Ooh,
IMAX
in 3D.
even.
I do hear that 3D is so good. I mean, it's an independent film, so you can never tell.
I told you, there's just assembly required. That's how independent it is. So again, Essy, thanks a lot for coming on. Hopefully some of us will be there, and we'll get to say hi to you in person.
Absolutely, yeah. It's been great talking to you all, and come say hey.
Yeah, and you are welcome back anytime. You're among family here.
Cool, good deal.
Excellent.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much.
All right, have a good one.
It's time for the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Our books
or graphic novels.
Tell us what your favorites are.
Books at thegeekspeakshow.com.
And I've got an easy transition for us today. I'm going to recommend the Dr. Horrible Sing-Along-Blog companion book. It is an amazing coffee table book. It is chock full of all of the pictures and behind-the-scenes things that you would expect out of a coffee table book. But, oh my God, it also actually has the full score of the musical. So you can take it out and set it on your piano. Well, your piano. You don't want me pounding on keys. But you can take it out, set it on your piano, sing along to it, and you've got the full score and the shooting script that they used in the book. It is an essential reference guide for any Dr. Horrible fan, and an absolute amazing book that you just want to look through and kind of you don't want to lick the
Geek out
pages,
on.
but you kind of do. You just stroke the pictures a little bit. Maybe that's just me. I'm gonna let somebody else recommend a book now and start thinking about
Well, she goes to
Neil Patrick Harris and
spend some time with her book.
My book.
She needs a few minutes alone now.
You can just I'm just gonna be in the corner over here. Don't mind me.
Well,
get a little closer.
I'm going to
There
talk
you go.
about my book now. So since you guys are getting to know me since the first time on the show, I'm going to talk about a book called The Jedi Path. So this book is awesome because it works like a manual to the Force, to the Jedi trainings, all the way from the Old Republic up to current stuff like the Clone Wars. But the cool part about it is that you have a bunch of different Jedi putting notes in the corners in the side of the book. So you have, Qui-Gon, and you have Dooku before he became a Sith, and Ahsoka, and you even have Darth Sidious, actually, who apparently got a hold of the book and then crossed out things and added other Sith Lord type comments in it. And then Luke ends up with it at the end. So the cool thing also about it is that you can see how the original Jedi trainings were taken on by the Padawans or anybody that was in the temple, but then how Luke saw it differently after the Empire and all the stuff that's happened. So it's really cool. There's pictures and diagrams and like little pieces of paper from the Jedi Code, which that one's my favorite. But it's something awesome. So if you like Star Wars a little bit, if you're a huge fan, if you're 5 years old or 55 years old, it's an awesome book to have in your collection.
So it goes from Old Republic all the way to the New Jedi Order.
It does.
I should have recommended the Sith book, but that'll be for another week. I actually don't have a book, speaking of this week, but what I do have is I was cleaning out the books at the geekspeakshow.com. Yes, all the Ready Player ones, I saw them. It's coming. Relax. I deal with that every week. But I do. Some of them did stick out, and one of them is the science fiction of Jack London, an anthology. I didn't even know, honestly, that he did science fiction. It's by Jack London. That was sent by Amy in California. I didn't say where in California, just in California. This one also, the Star Trek Vault, 40 years from the archives. Star Trek didn't jump out at me. What did was, friend of the show, Scott Tipton, he's been here a few times talking about Star Trek comic books.
Star Trek jumped out at me.
Yeah, and he's doing Doctor Who and Next Generation. This shows up on our YouTube page. You guys can listen to that one if you missed it. I don't know why. Where were you? That one actually comes from Aaron in Illinois. This one, because I was actually looking at when I was cleaning out the email, the books at the geekspeakshow.com, I was actually looking at our Prometheus poster that I got from WonderCon. The Alien Vault, the movie Alien, the definitive story of the making of the film by Ian Nathan. That's from James in California. Monsters in the Movies by John Landis. I actually heard about this book last year. Haven't gotten it yet. From DK Books. It actually came from two people, from S. Banks in California and Cindy in Oregon. Cindy K in Oregon. So those three, I'm going to talk about. I'm going to get them either at the library or just get them somewhere. Scott Tipton will probably be able to send us one because, like I said, he's been on the show I don't know how many times now. And yes, the Ready Player ones, I know every week I deal with it. It's coming. I'm going to read it. Ernie Klein will come on sooner rather than later. And I just finished something called The Strand Prophecy by Brianna and Brittany Winner, the Winner twins. I was going to meet them at WonderCon. They were there at a booth, but I was doing a lot of running around, going from one to the other, to the one press room to another one, to a panel, to this, to that, and I couldn't talk to them. So I emailed them, and they sent me the book. Very good. They're 16 now. I think they're in sophomores in high school now, and this is they started their third book. This has become a series now, and they're also doing a graphic novel, and it may become a movie also. So we're gonna have them on pretty soon. Then they'll tell us all about it. The Strand of Prophecy. That's a little tease. You'll hear from them pretty soon. So, what was your book again?
Dr. Horrible Sing-Along Blog companion book.
Rachel?
The Jedi Path.
And mine? None. Just those suggestions there. But keep sending yours, books at thegeekspeakshow.com, books at thegeekspeakshow.com, and they will be... the Ready Player ones, keep sending them, but yes, I know, it's coming. So that's it. That's all you got to do. Let's say bye.
That's the Geek Speak Show Book Club. Tell us what your favorite books or graphic novels are. Books at thegeekspeakshow.com.
Bye, not for the show, but now we can say bye for the show. So it was a good show, actually. It was good meeting you, Rachel. Finally having real geek. See, this is why I wanted to do this, because you guys, we got to do some outtakes from what goes on in between the breaks and what goes on behind the scenes here, and we also got to do a video show. Oh wait, we are. So again, next week, we talked about it last week. We teased it a little bit last week. Yes, I am such a tease sometimes. It's going to be called Two Cats Speaking Geek, and that's because it's going to be filmed at the Two Cats comic book store where you and I met, actually, at the grand opening event. Christian and Hollywood Corey will be co-hosting with myself, Rachel, Arielle, Violet, whoever else we bring on. We introduce you to the Geek Girls. You guys are more than welcome to come on and have fun with us there. So then you can see what goes on in between, one set piece to another. That's actually more fun than what you actually hear on the show. You'll see what I mean. I know. One of our camera guys is here. We should do, what do you call those? The behind the scenes stuff? The extras, the DVD extras. Yeah. Not bloopers, but the DVD extras. So you see what actually, the conversations that go on behind the scenes.
Like the behind the scenes, like somebody just takes a camera and like walks around and is like, I'm recording this for the DVD.
Yeah, with Arielle, there'll be a lot of, Whoops, I didn't see the
Yeah,
microphone
it's
there.
a lot of flailing.
A lot of me ducking.
Yeah. There's like at some point Rachel's going to show up with a bruised eye, and she's going to have to say she walked it not into a door, but into an Arielle.
That, or we got to get you from Marvel the Captain America shield, the replica. Just hold it up. So you hear the ding. You know what
You'd be like, Arielle, stop moving your hands.
Yeah. So again, that video show that will be happening next week. It'll be pretty straightforward for the first. We're not going to get that complicated. You just meet Christian, Corey. You'll get to see the coolest, newest comic book store here in San Francisco. If you haven't been there, 320 West Portal, go there. It's up on our webpage on the main page. It is the official comic book shop of the Geek Speak Show. So again, that'll be happening next. When is it? When the second? Whatever the. I'm all confused on days. Whenever
Wednesday.
The second Tuesday, I think. Was it Wednesday? I think it's Tuesday or Wednesday. No, it is Wednesday because we're doing this show, then
that show.
Told you I'm all confused. Then the following day, you can go to Essy's thing at the Cartoon Art Museum.
And then you can go and see that little independent underground film that requires some assembly.
Yes.
Right, like all the rest of the weekend.
Then, and also, like we did for WonderCon, next week's show, everybody's coming back, I think, I hope. Knock on wood, I don't have any wood around here.
Here, use my head.
There you go. See, that would have been perfect, Rich. You could have got her back with it.
Yeah.
No, not hit her with the wood. No, but what we're gonna do next week is Free Comic Book Day. Not do it here, but we're gonna do a lead up show up to Free Comic Book Day. We'll talk to. Last year, if you all remember, I did it is an international event, so I talked to everybody. Stores in the Philippines, a bar, cool bar in New Zealand, actually, no, in Australia, where it's a video game bar. And they were doing Free Comic Book Day for the first time.
I want to go to a video game bar.
Actually, Rachel, you would have liked this because the day I talked to them, they had just done a Star Wars Day that morning. But this year, I figured, unfortunately, a few stores here in San Francisco have closed. So I said, you know what? We'll support the Bay Area. We're keeping it here in the Bay Area. So we're going to talk to all the local stores, including Two Cats, Joe Fields, friend of the show, the guy who started Free Comic Book Day. Where else will we start? And the Whedon. Not that one. The other one. No, not that one either. The other one.
Why can't I be yay about all of them?
She likes all of them.
Yes. I even like the honorary Whedons who are married into the Whedons. Mo. That's a little reference. I mean, you all will understand later.
Yeah. See why she's part of the show? No, but Zach Whedon will be here because he will also be at Free Comic Book Day at Joe's store. He's going to be signing, so now we just made that line even bigger now that you know that. So you'll hear from Joe Field, from Zach will be here. Coastside Comics will also be here. Not sure if Christian and Corey are going to come on. Probably not because we'll be a little busy preparing for our video show. That'll be our debut show. Corey's got to get the makeup and everything on him.
Well, he is Hollywood Corey.
Of course. And you never know. You never know who else is going to show up. You always have some surprises here on this show. So Arielle, maybe you'll be here. Violet will probably be here again. Rachel, you're welcome back. Everybody's welcome back. Before we go, Rachel, what do you think?
I think this is awesome. There's a place for geeks to not just unite as being cliche, but to listen to what other geeks have to say, to put in their input, send in emails. It's just an awesome thing. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you guys so much.
So you'll obviously hear her a lot more. So we'll do it next week. Bye.
That's all for this week. Come back next week for a brand new episode. Follow the Geek Speak Show on Twitter at Geek Speak Show 1. Like them on Facebook. Subscribe in iTunes. And listen to archived shows on YouTube. Search for Geek Speak videos. The Geek Speak Show is powered by Collider.com, Ramascreen.com, and GeekTyrant.com. This is now the Geek Speak Show.